Hello friends, welcome back to this video series on saluting women in history. The books of history, predominantly written by men, oftentimes overlook the contributions of women. But actually speaking, from the legendary Amazons of Greek mythology to Queen Boudicca of Roman Empire, warrior women have fascinated the world for many centuries. India too has its own share of indomitable women who proved themselves to be fierce fighters, skilled leaders, and social reformers. We know about some women, but there are many more whose stories have been forgotten. Among these are the brave women of Punjab who have a long history of fighting patriarchy, enacting radical change, and taking up leadership roles. Sikhism is considered to be one of the religions to provide equal status to men and women from its inception. In India, women of the Sikh faith have fought, ruled, taught, and served for centuries. They have managed organizations, guided communities, and led revolts as well. These accomplishments are admirable in their own right, and they are even more impressive. We know about some women, but there are others whose stories have been lost to time. Let us now look into the fascinating life history of these trailblazers who have left an indelible mark on history. Mata Nanaki. She was born in Chahal village at Lahore, which is now in Pakistan. Mata Nanaki loved and nurtured her younger brother Nanak. In 1469, Nanak experienced a divine vision as a young man and became the first guru, what is now the Sikh faith. Mata Nanaki was the first to follow him and is celebrated as the first Sikh, which literally means disciple or seeker of truth. Bibi Bagbari, who is otherwise called as the Bishop Mayor, was one of the first to occupy a seat in the Manji administrative system, which was tasked with keeping the Sikh community across Punjab strong and cohesive. Bibi Bagbari was appointed to the Manji of Kashmir and ultimately chosen for this role because Guru Amar Das felt she was fully conversant with the doctrines of the Sikh faith. Ultimately, she acted as a spiritual and political leader as she was responsible for the economic, religious, and social affairs of the Sikhs of Kashmir. Mata Kiwi, the first to serve langar. She was the wife of Guru Angad Sahib, the second Sikh Guru, and established a free kitchen named Langar that provided meals for everyone in their community. There is also a reference to Mata Kiwi in the Guru Granth Sahib, wherein she is described as a good person, an affectionate mother, and one who provides shelter and protection to others. Today, every Gurudwara in the world continues the tradition of serving langar, and every Sikh Gurudwara in the world serves langar to the community and is open to all castes, faiths, and backgrounds. Mai Bago, who was otherwise called as a warrior saint, was born in Jabal village near Amritsar in Punjab. She embodied a wide range of skills and traits. Not only she learned the art of homemaking, but she also learned the art of warfare from an early age. Her mother taught her how to cook, embroider, and manage household affairs, while her father taught her hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, archery, gatka, and horsemanship. Mai Bago grew up in a time when the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, fought to defend Sikhs against the tyranny of the Mughal regime and regional Hindu hill chiefs. During a great siege in 1705, Mai Bago rallied 40 deserters and led them into battle herself, sword in hand. They died fighting and became known as the Chali Mukte, the 40 liberated ones. Later, she went on to become the bodyguard for Guru Gobind Singh, donning a turban and dressing in warrior attire. Today, she is revered as a warrior saint. Mata Sundari. She was born around the 1660s and was the wife of Guru Gobind Singh. She single-handedly managed the Sikh religion after the passing of her husband, and it is said that under her rule, Sikhism was able to sustain itself and flourish for 40 years. She also collected the works of her late husband for publishing and made sure that all Gurudwaras were under proper management. She issued her own seal and issued orders to the Khalsa army, which was trying to establish control after the loss of Guru Gobind Singh. Sikh warriors had also broken into two factions, and Mata Sundari, with her own strategic and spiritual knowledge, invested in the help of Bhai Mani Singh to bring them together, and she was successful as well. Unfortunately, most mainstream Sikh history does not accord this leadership role to Mata Sundari and only keeps her in the role of mothering her fearless sons. Sahib Kaur, the spiritual mother. She joined the court of Guru Gobind Singh to lead a life devoted to social justice and community service. She would join him in serving langar, fighting battles, and singing hymns. Due to her dedication to the Sikh path in 1699, when Guru Gobind Singh ceremoniously created an order of initiated Sikhs called Khalsa, he asked her to play a central part in the ceremony. She famously added sugar to the amrit that he and the other committed Sikhs were to drink. To this day, she is considered as the mother of the Khalsa. Sada Kaur, who is the commander-in-chief and the military mastermind, was born into a ruling family of Punjab, but she became a young widow when her husband was killed in a battle. She used the moment to transform herself into a warrior, donning a turban, armor, and weaponry. She was known as a poised and strategic leader, and she joined forces with her son-in-law Ranjit Singh in an effort to unite Punjab into one nation state. To achieve this, she led armies into battle and negotiated at diplomatic tables. Punjab ultimately came together under their leadership, and Ranjit Singh came to be Maharaja, and she served as the regent of Punjab. Being a military mastermind, Sada Kaur commanded battle and thereby laid the foundation for the Sikh Empire, which spanned the region from 1799 to 1849. Maharani Jind Kaur, also called as the Rebel Queen, was married to Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and when her son Dalip Singh came into power at the age of 5, Maharani Jind Kaur served as his regent and ruled Punjab on his behalf. She was the first female freedom fighter in the struggle to throw away the British from the subcontinent. But after Ranjit Singh's death, the British annexed the Punjab through bribery and treachery. Maharani Jind Kaur's revolutionary speeches and rallying cries rattled the British, who imprisoned her and separated from her son. But she managed to escape from prison by disguising herself as a servant and lived in exile in Nepal. Later, she got reunited with her son Dalip Singh in England, and she died shortly there in 1863 at the age of 46 itself. Though she never regained the Sikh kingdom, Maharani Jind Kaur has been credited for sowing the seeds of the subcontinent's struggle for independence. Princess Sophia Dalip Kaur Singh, who is also called as a militant suffragette, was the granddaughter of Maharaja Ranjit Singh and the goddaughter of Queen Victoria. As she lived in England, she participated in the Women's Tax Resistance League and defiantly refused to pay taxes in order to protest against the disenfranchisement of women. She also served as the president of the Committee of the Suffragette Fellowship. Sophia Dalip Kaur Singh's aggressive activism even involved her in a riot in November 1910, during which she co-led a march to the parliament that resulted in a clash with the police. Gulab Kaur, the freedom fighter, coming from a poor family, and her husband Man Singh sought a better future. So, from Punjab, they went to Manila, with the ultimate aim of migrating to US. In Manila, Gulab Kaur heard lectures by the Ghadar Party, an organization founded by Punjabi Indians abroad with the aim to liberate India from the British rule. She was inspired to join the movement, and with a press pass in hand and disguised as a journalist, she distributed arms to Ghadar Party members. Gulab Kaur also encouraged others to join the Ghadar Party by distributing independence literature and delivering inspiring speeches to Indian passengers of ships. She was ultimately sentenced to 2 years in prison in Lahore, that is the present-day Pakistan, for seditious acts. Amrita Pritam, the great poet of the subcontinent in the 20th century, and she is the first prominent woman Punjabi poet, novelist and essayist, equally loved on both sides of the India-Pakistan border. With a career spanning 6 decades, Amrita Pritam produced more than 100 books. She represents the rise of Sikh women in the humanities, that is, writers, artists, filmmakers and scholars. Dr. Inderjit Kaur, the great social worker, professor, administrator and international representative, she has many accomplishments to her name. During the partition of India in 1947, she ran an organization that rehabilitated more than 400 refugee families. She also set up Mata Sahib Kaur Dal School in Patiala for the children of these refugees. Inderjit Kaur valued a well-rounded education, so she organized self-defensing and shooting training for the women of these camps and established a dance troupe at her college as well. Inderjit Kaur was one of the first women to earn her master's degree from Punjab and went on to become the only woman on the governing council of Khalsa College. In 1975, she became the first female vice chancellor of a northern Indian university, serving at the Punjabi University in Patiala. Prakash Kaur, the universal mother, runs a house in Jalandhar for 60 abandoned girls. As she was abandoned herself as a child, found a few hours old in a drain, since 1993 she has rescued and raised unwanted and unclaimed newborn girls. She represents the many Sikh women fighting for women and girls against abandonment, domestic violence, sexual assault and forced marriage. Amrit Singh, the civil rights lawyer, daughter of a prominent personality, Dr. Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister of India. She is a formidable civil rights lawyer and one of the fiercest US critics of the torture and abuse of prisoners under the Bush administration. As an ACLU attorney, she litigated cases on torture, indefinite detention and post 9/11 discrimination. Amrit Singh represents a new generation of Sikh women lawyers wielding the law as sword and shield in the civic battlefield. Harita Kaur Deol, the Air Force pilot, hailing from Chandigarh, Punjab, she became one of the first 7 women cadets inducted into the Air Force as Short Service Commission Officers of India in 1993. She then became the first woman pilot to fly solo for the Indian Air Force. Her first flight was when she was 22 years old, was on 2nd September 1994 in an Avro HS-748. She was killed in an air crash near Nellore on 25th December 1996 at the age of 25. Thus, the Sikh women played a glorious part in the history of Sikhs and have proven themselves as equal in service, devotion, sacrifice and bravery. Examples of their moral dignity, service and self-sacrifice will ever remain a source of inspiration. Women are the backbone of the history of the Sikhs, their culture and tradition, yet there is little written about this huge contribution by the Sikh women to the great history of India. Man and woman are 2 sides of the same coin. Man takes birth from a woman and woman is born of a man. This system is interrelating and interdependent. A man can never feel secure and complete in life without a woman. A man's success depends upon the love and support of the woman who shares her life with him and vice versa. With all these facts highlighted in this video, the Sikh women in Indian history ought to be given a big salute. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video with another important topic.